The Federal Communications Commission, FCC, has approved rules aimed at safeguarding what they're calling net neutrality. I know, crazy. That is the principle that lawful web traffic should be treated equally. The rules passed by a 3-2 vote at an open meeting. Time to let the Willis watchdogs out. Clint David is the founder and managing shareholder at David Goodman and Madole in Dallas. Leslie Marshall is a Fox News contributor in Los Angeles. And Essie Cupp is a conservative columnist. Essie, let's start with you. You like net neutrality?
Well, let me put it this way. Al Franken said that this is the most important free speech issue we're facing. He's right, but he comes down on the wrong side of it, unfortunately. Never a good idea when the government starts poking around in otherwise sort of free arenas, and that's exactly what's happening here. The FCC should not be making laws. No good.
Leslie?
Actually, don't faint, SC. We agree. Because
I'm fainting.
No. I know. I'll tell you why. Because even though it would help me, a liberal, democratic, progressive talk show host, to have a fairness doctrine on radio, you know, the FCC is not Congress. This is a First Amendment right, and it does fall on the wrong side of it because it's a slippery slope in the future. Right now, this is not a problem. The problem I have is what this can become.
What can it become?
I'm not a big. What can it become? It can become a hindrance to future entrepreneurs in this country. It can become a hindrance to people who are accessing the internet with cost. It can become, quite frankly, it can benefit those who seek to have a monopoly down the road, which I know they're trying to avoid now. And it's not necessary. It's not a necessary thing that must be done. And again, the FCC, to me, is trying to act more like in a congressional capacity, and they're not Congress.
Well, you know, Clint, I'm just curious, do you think government is just trying to get its greedy little paws in a market that has made a ton of dough?
You know, I mean, I don't necessarily come from that cynical a place. I mean, where I come from, this is sort of the classic struggle and balance. I mean, you've got on the one hand government that does need to regulate and provide some regulation of some industries, yet on the other hand, the need for consumers to be protected, yet government to be, these entities to be free of regulation. I will say this, at some point, Jerry, there's going to have to be, I believe, an internet traffic cop that will level the playing field here, because otherwise these companies will get too powerful, and I think that's what you're seeing.
That's why we have a Justice Department. All right, so moving on. After a slowdown in spending this summer, consumers are finally ready to spend, flooding the malls this week, making this year's holiday season look like a pre-recession Christmas. But that brings some bad news for last-minute shoppers. Some of the hottest gifts, well, they're sold out. For example, good luck trying to find a Kindle 3. I just bought one of these. The Kinect for Xbox 360 or Monster High dolls. Even fleece-lined flannel shirts at LL Bean are no more. Clint, I couldn't find fleece flannel shirts last year. Happens over and over again.
Jerry, I'll tell you this. This is why I went into law rather than retail. My inventory is time, which you never run out of. I really have a lot of respect for the retail industry. It's very difficult. You got this balance. You don't want too much inventory. You don't want enough. I'll say this, at least maybe the industry overestimated or underestimated demand, and maybe that's a good thing because demand is up for these hot retail items.
Essie?
Yeah, I mean, this is sort of a Goldilocks thing. You know, you saw last year that a lot of retailers were left with too much stuff after the Christmas season. And this year, unfortunately, they don't have enough. I'd rather be in that position as a retailer, of course, but maybe next year we'll all get it just right.
Well, you know, Leslie, I'm glad to see the economy firing on all cylinders because that's what this story tells us. What do you think?
Well, I do. I think I want to be on your Christmas list if you're giving out Kindles. Those are over $100. It's very, very generous.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, Old Navy had $5 pajamas in a bad economy and didn't make enough of them. Hello. This is not looking at the consumerism. I said, what bad economy when I tried to get a parking space at Best Buy last week? This is a good thing for the economy. And what I'm confused about, when Americans are crying, I'm poor, it's such a bad economy, then how come you're buying a $149 gift set of pop, so much so that the retailers are running out? I think it's a good sign for the economy.
Well, it's a good question, really. That's a good point. All right, on to the next story. Before too long, the government check will no longer be in the mail. Starting May 1st, millions of folks will no longer be able to get their Social Security and other benefit checks by mail on paper. Recipients will have to switch to direct deposit or a debit card. Leslie, what do you think?
I think it's good because this is less spending, this is cutting costs, and 8 out of 10 currently do receive it that way. I got a notice from the IRS the other day that said, as a small business owner, that I can no longer send in my paper stubs as I have been, that you have to do it online. I think this is the way we're going to see not only American companies and the government going, but this is the future, and I think it's a good thing because it's a huge cost-cutting measure as well.
Leslie, I think we're converting you. I don't know. Clint.
I know, you guys, you know what, maybe, you know, I don't know. I'm going to get, somebody's going to give me coal in my stocking from my liberal groups, I'm sure, right?
Clint, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, Jerry, what shocks me more, that the U.S. government has actually the common sense to do this, or that, as was mentioned, 8 out of 10 people already have direct deposit. I will tell you this, it is inevitable that the world will go paperless, and that's going to happen sooner than later.
I just hope nobody screws it up. You know what I mean, Essie?
Right, well, I mean, this may disenfranchise a very small group of people, elderly people who might not be online as much, but on the whole, this is great. I remember right after midterms, a group of Virginia legislators got together, real local, and said, let's cut some spending by getting rid of our direct mailings and lowering our office supplies. I mean, real sort of grassroots stuff. I love it.
All right. Well, a news story here. A California woman took a friend's boys to see Santa and was helping the kids off Santa's lap when Mr. Claus waved Mom back. Santa told her she's been very good and there's a special gift for her. Her boyfriend of 9 years suddenly emerged, got down on one knee and proposed. I'm sorry, I love this. Leslie, what do you think?
I'm a hopeless romantic, so I absolutely love this. I was just so happy that Santa didn't say, and he got the diamond at, you know, Zales or something.
Right.
Have some kind of an ad in our capitalistic society thrown into it. No, I'm a hopeless romantic. I think it's sweet. I like it very much.
Clint, I heard some naysaying there, mister.
Yeah, okay, listen. I'm the only male in this group, so maybe I'm going to come from a different angle. This is utterly lame. I mean, this guy proposes to his soon-to-be wife while she's sitting on another man's lap, while children are milling about waiting to see Santa. I mean, come on. He should be lucky that she didn't leave with Santa instead of him. Completely lame.
Essie, okay, this brings up a good point, though. I mean, could it have been an expensive dinner in a really nice restaurant?
Well, we all like that, too. I'm sure there are many more of those in her future. But, Clint, I got to tell you, take it from the ladies. This was a great move. This was absolutely adorable. And, frankly, any Santa story that doesn't involve, you know, drunk Santa or, like, pervert Santa, I'm totally into. Go Santa.
It was the only positive Santa story we could actually find. All right, Tufts University.
I told you we'd come from different places.
Yeah.
I thought it was an interesting point, Clint. All right, Tufts University is throwing stressed out students, that is, a bone. They are handing out puppies to play with during final exams. Other colleges are offering free midnight massages and laser tag to help students navigate those tough days before the end of the semester. Essie, toughen up. Come on, the real world, you don't get the free stuff, do you?
You know, I went to a pretty tough college, and it sucked. And finals week was terrible. And I locked myself in a room for 2 weeks. I did nothing but study, and it was awful. I didn't get massages or laser tag.
Having said that, can we show the puppy video again? I love the puppy video. It's so cute.
Who doesn't love a puppy? But enough coddling. This is not preparing kids for the real world.
Clint, do you think this is a good idea? I mean, look at these puppies. Would this help your performance on an exam? I don't know.
Let me say, first of all, as a Willis watchdog, I am touched and moved by this story. That's number one. Let me tell you, Jerry, I took law exams 30 years ago, and I still have nightmares about them that I can't find a chair in the exam room. The fact that they are focusing on these students' mental health and helping them, I think, is fabulous. Kudos to Tufts.
Wow. You're just all over the place today, Clint. Leslie?
See, I am romantic.
This is very scary because I'm going to say, stop that heart on the sleeve. Toughen up. I drank coffee and ate brownies, and if the going got tough, there was always beer and Jägermeister in some fraternity's lobby. The bottom line is, if they can't handle the stress of an exam, oh, wow, I get my violin out, how are they going to handle the stress of the world? I'm from Boston. Tufts is a great university, but midnight massages, I'm going back to school.
All right. Leslie, I heart you tonight. I totally heart you tonight.
We're impressed.
You are cold.
Great conversation, guys.